Another day. Get that out of here. Okay. Okay, we got our joysticks on here. Let's get our buttons on here. All right, got our buttons all washed up. I had a crazy, hectic day yesterday. I did not really get any footage. I got like maybe 1 minute of footage. We were busy rolling and moving games, and I really wish Joe Ted had been there and been able to make it, because he would have been doing a great job being cameraman. Reassemble all of our buttons here. Probably gonna have to come back and put a longer ground wire there to make sure that wire reaches, which that won't be a big deal. We'll come back to that later. And no surprise, I'm gonna do the same thing here. And I am really kind of guessing where all these buttons are going right now. Once I get the game going, I'll put it into test mode and we'll identify the buttons and move them around then. All we gotta do is move the switches around, so it's not a big deal. That actually used to be the part that overwhelmed me. Was, oh my God, how am I gonna know where all these buttons go? And no, just put your switches on there, on all your wires, put it all together, and then look at the screen. Oh, that's button 1. Okay, click it on the button 1. No big deal. And I may even have this completely backwards. No, that's the hinge side, so it should go down towards the hinge. All right. Oh, the finger mashing. All right. Bolts are lined up. Now, before I tighten these up, I'll try to make sure those are narrowed up. So there were multiple ways to set this game up. You had the 2-player cabinet, you had the 4-player cabinet, and then of course you had the big deluxe edition pedestal with the big floor mounted monitor cabinet. The base game was probably the 2-player cabinet and 4-player cabinet with 4-way joysticks, not the 49-way joysticks, and with a standard resolution monitor. Then there were models of the game that came with a medium resolution monitor. There's actually a setting on the board to set this game up to play medium resolution. My game did not come with a medium resolution monitor. I do have a 25-inch K7500 over there. I have the chassis still in the box that I plan to put in this and get the medium resolution graphics. I want to look in and see if there's stereo sound. This cabinet doesn't have stereo sound, and I'm fine with that. But if the game has stereo sound, I may pull the grill off and put 2 speakers instead of the single speaker. I'll put 2 speakers there and put a subwoofer in it. I really want to go all out with this cabinet eventually, but we're going to get this up and going. It needs love right now. It's tired of sitting and getting neglected and me losing all track of the parts and pieces. We got that much together. Let's roll this up so it's not laying there on the ground getting torn to pieces. There are some anchor points, some little straps that hold the wiring harness up and out of the way. But look at there. We've gotten that far.
And we are underway!
Looking at this, there's a piece that goes across the front here, which I don't know what I did with it. There is also a piece here that's separate that holds the glass in. So I came over here, got these 2 Mortal Kombat 2 cabinets here. For the time being, I robbed one off that cabinet over there that holds the glass in, and I'll probably take this piece of trim here. You see, it's 2 separate pieces. You got the metal trim that holds the glass in, you got the metal trim that holds, or that puts pressure on it right there. So, boom. This is what we're looking for. This one's all chipped and in rough shape. I'll probably have to clean that up and paint it. I'm also going to see if this bezel glass will fit it, since I have that in front of me and I don't have to look for it. All right, there's our glass bar. There's our air compressor. We got our glass. You think we'd get lucky and have a bezel that fits? Stands to reason. Look at there. We got our bezel. Okay. You guys thought I hoarded this stuff like it was a mental disorder or something. All right, so we got our trim pieces now. This one's in good shape. This one here is a bit rusty and crusty. So I think I'm going to hit this with the bead blaster, get a coat of lacquer on it, get it drying. I just realized that with the control panel on here, I can't do the side art. I honestly need to pull the control panel back off, touch up some paint, and get ready to do the side art. So I can't do the monitor. Can't do the side art because this is on here. Can't do the side art because I want to put another coat of black on this and kind of make it look pretty again. So I'm going to take the control box back off, set it up. Then I'm going to kick the monitor on its back. We will touch up the paint on that, touch up the paint on this, let it cure, and then we'll work on some more assembly after that. Maybe it'll be cured by then. So, or do that side art. That's always a thing. Alright guys, I normally use semi-gloss black Rust-Oleum, but in my haste, I picked up a can of gloss black. Now, it kind of looks good, but at the same time, gloss shows every imperfection. I like semi-gloss, it kind of, you know, it's not too glossy, it's not too flat, and you can hide a lot with it. But I can see a few little details, but you know what, I'm gonna leave it alone. We're just gonna go with it. She's gonna be gloss black, all right? So I'm gonna go ahead and remove my tape for the paint skins. Hopefully it'll come off nice and neat here. You'll see the difference between this semi-gloss coin door and that semi-gloss paint I just put on there. Yeah, you can see how that coin door is a little bit duller, but you know what, it kind of stands out. So we're gonna go with it, and I'm gonna just be happy with it. I had done my usual deal of putting several coats of Kills oil-based primer on here and just sanding it down repeatedly, but I still had a lot of gouges and little nicks and cuts inside. This cabinet was pretty beat up, plus when I removed the vinyl off the side, it pulled little pieces of wood out. So I went over this side with some Bondo, and apparently I never sanded this. So I'm gonna have to sand it, yet if this is tacky, I don't want to sand and then get that paint dust all on that. So this needs to cure. I think we're gonna address some wiring issues that we're gonna have to take care of en route. Get our power supply and stuff hooked up, because that board's just bolted in right now. It's not actually, nothing's really plugged in. It's just bolted in place. So I'm gonna stand the cabinet back up. We're gonna focus on that. As soon as that paint's cured, then we're gonna start sanding this and we'll put our side art on. All right. Start with my power cord there. Okay. Yeah, so see the red side here has to be away from the plastic side, but it'll only plug in with the red side out. The key only fits that way. I'm just going around in circles here, because it should, physically it'll only plug in that way, but the key's in the wrong spot. And we can't change that. And then that won't plug in that way. I mean, was it always like that? This is weird. Oh my gosh. Let me go look at the control panel real quick. Well, we certainly got plenty of plug. All right, look, there we go, right there. Okay. I bet you those wires plug into these. And then over here, all right. Here, this is gonna, all right, this is starting to make more sense. Except for that, we don't need that. All right, so if we look over here on our control panel end, okay, so they did that on purpose to keep you from plugging it in wrong. So it's a mirror image, because that one will plug in right there. And then those guys plug into that other mess back there. There's a lot going on with these sticks. A lot. This guy, I bet plugs into there. And then that guy plugs in there. Okay, so that all plugs in there. And then there's our board. This will be mounted into our control panel box. Then the wiring harness will run up to the control panel box, and it'll plug into these guys, which are all keyed. And that's what those cables back over there, they're mirror image because, you know, they plug into each other. So it's an actual opposite thing. And then that'll all go together. I don't know what there's a couple of red wires here with 2 spade connectors. I think these go to a fuse that's installed in the control panel. I did notice one laying in the floor, a fuse holder with a fuse in the bottom of the cabinet over there. We might move that fuse up and hook that up. I believe that's what that's for. Not sure. We're doing all this without a book. Living dangerous. Living dangerous. Wouldn't have it any other way though, right? All right, so now we just need to get all this mess aimed up there to the control panel for when we put the control panel on, and make sure there's enough slack. Now, obviously, we're not going to run this up over the monitor bracket. We're going to go under, right down here. Big enough strap for the cable to go through right there. Looks like it is. So I think we got us a nice little holder there to hold that. And I think this is a ground wire that runs through our control panel, which we'll make sure to put that on there when we get there. And then is that one going to be big enough? Yep. These cables will be the cables going to our control panel. Also notice that I have no wires going to my coin door, which we're going to set this up for free play. It's not important, but I do like having the authentic, you know, experience there. Eventually we'll hook the slam switch and lights and get all that together. Also, in the amazing world of wiring, here's my power cord coming into the cabinet. The power comes in, goes here, goes into the bottom of this. There's our power and our neutral. After it goes through, comes in, goes through our fuse, comes out here. I'm assuming that all of our grounds are connected right. Then it goes from there. They go up the side of the cabinet, and I am assuming that they go up to the power switch that's up on top of the roof of the cabinet. Now I just want to verify the color of the wires coming back down from that switch, because I don't want to wire this wrong and end up with the power switch only turns the marquee light off and on and not the game. I may or may not have done that at one point. Okay, so this is the marquee lights. So we got those separated out. Why? Because we want to. All right, so get those out of there. All right, so it looks like the white and black go up and they come back down, blue and yellow, and the blue and yellow feed back into the Molex, where they become purple and yellow again, and then they are then connected into the switching power supply. Okay, also coming off the switching power supply, we've got our feed for our isolation transformer, which runs up and goes to our monitor power, and he'll hang right there for now. And then also coming off the other side of the power supply is our feed for our marquee light. I have no idea what the marquee light looks like in this. I know I put a new marquee on this when it came in. I stuck it in there to keep from losing it. Pretty sure there's some sort of light fixture, but usually I update them to an LED bar. I don't know, it might not be. It may still be the fluorescent light. We'll find out. Pretty good ways from firing stuff up right now. Now that we know what's what there, tidy that wiring up and get it out of the way. I really don't like how this is, man. And nobody can see what I'm doing. Brilliant. Okay, So yeah, there's a lot of button caps in here. Like, I'm not even sure why this Molex is in here. This all could have just been connected right there and done away with, but yeah, it is what it is. All right, so my big concern though when I started is I did not see these wires coming out of here. They were covered up under everything, and I did not know how power was getting from the cord from this box. Like, where did it go from there? So we got our isolation transformer. All right, all of our high voltage looks good. Okay, so I think we're good on that part. Now we got to work on our low voltage. We got our power supply, our switching power supply right here, which has a date of 1999 on it. Ugh. Hey, I just noticed that this has a Bob Roberts sticker on that power supply. Man, that's old school right there. Is the real Bob Roberts still in business? He's like the one that started the whole arcade parts thing, and his website just is a wealth of classic arcade knowledge. Honestly, that's where I started a lot of my research into learning about arcade repair. Reading all of his bulletins and posts, and just so much knowledge there. I recommend anybody to visit that website. But back in the day, he was the man for the cap kits. So what's the best way to get our power over here? Should I run it across the top and across the back, or we'll just straight down the bottom? Because I'm got to extend all these. Oh, do I even have wire? I know I got wire. I would prefer it be the right color and match the system. So, you know, normal people have like rolls of wire. I'm not normal people. I have a box of random wire that I save, and then I go over there and just pull and cut sections out of it when I need it. Oh man, we are professional grade people. We are. And yep, it's stranded, so that's gonna be good. That'll work. I need orange, red. What? No yeller? Ah, phooey. Let's see. Let's see. There's 3 reds, 1 yellow, 2 orange, and 4 black. Yeah, I'm not sure. This is where the fan was located when I got the cabinet, but it's a really weird place for the fan to be. But as long as it does the job, we're going to keep him there. Alright, so they feed in with the power, and then they go. Ooh. We gotta fix some. We gotta fix some issues with our wiring harness here. We got. Looks like somebody's tapped into the. Yeah, somebody has tapped into the 12 volt here. I bet that goes to feed a coin door light. Let's see. But other wires. And why is there 2 sets of speaker wires? That's interesting. And I've got music on and can't play any of this. Okay, so got my power lead or power leads extended, but there's another set of wires in here. Not sure what they go to, but according to the JAMA harness, they're speaker. I'm gonna have to find the book on this and look at the schematic. This would be a lot easier if this board didn't slide in and out. And it's really looking like that might not be something that I'm gonna keep going with. Because if I run this down here to the back, that gets me to my switcher. Keep you guys out of there. I've got some really cool wire wrap stuff from Harbor Freight that I'm going to use on that one. Pull them wires up out of the way and out of trouble. And then they will come down here across the back. Yes, I don't think that that's going to the power supply. Says it's a speaker wires, but I don't know if I trust that. If it is, awesome, because there's our speaker wire right there. So that would put it in the vicinity, but I don't trust it because it didn't come out of this cabinet, so it didn't know where the speakers were. And I may have to extend our ground later. I don't know if I have got enough wire there for the ground. But if it's there, I should be able to slide that out. I'm going to plug this in and check the voltage on the power supply before we plug it into the harness there. See if that power supply is even any good. We might get a smoke show. Let's see what happens. All right, so far. Hey, look, our power supply has power. We made it that far. And I don't know if this meter even reads low voltage. It reads DC, but I don't know about low voltage. So I don't trust the accuracy on this. -5 and +5 looks good. And we got 12 volt. I'm going to consider this one working. I'll get a better meter and check it before we run the board. We're a couple days from that anyway. All right, so I've got some wire wrap that I'm gonna put around this, and when you slide this in, this is all kind of gonna roll up and go away over here. Gonna get our video wires. I don't have a connector on here. I'm not sure why I would have cut them, but look, I've got a set of video wires off of another cabinet that I saved, and I'm gonna hook these up. Following my JAMA connector there, I'm going to go by that, at least for the red, green, and blue. Then there's also the sync wires. May have to fill those out a little bit after we get the monitor in it. It's going to be big fun. A lot of big journey of self-discovery here. So I'm going to hook those up. Just going through and working out more wires. Just a little bit at a time. These are really tiny wires. I wish I had some more. I'm having trouble finding the little small button cap connectors that I like to use. Like those down there. They're really good with the small wire. Yeah, I am a crimp butt splice fanatic. It's not the best connection. And these little wires, sometimes, not only will they not crimp, sometimes you'll actually pinch them hard enough to cut the wire off. And then you gotta start all over again. But, like I always say, anything worth doing is worth doing twice. Maybe 3, 4 times even. I'm gonna call it a night. Get back down here tomorrow. I'm gonna dig the book out. Gonna find out what the rest of these wires go to and how hooked up. We gotta wrap up some of these wires that are just laying everywhere. And we've got to get our fans and our power to our hard drive going. That is something. So orange is our 12 volt and red is our 5 volt. Also feed voltage directly through there, so we're not sending that voltage straight through the edge connector and overheating that connection.